Hi, I'm Guy Powell, and welcome to the next episode of the Backstory on Marketing. If you haven't already done so, please visit ProRelevant.com and sign up for all of these episodes and podcasts. I am the author of the newly released book, The Post-COVID Marketing Machine: Prepare Your Team to Win. And you can find out more information on this book at marketingmachine.prorelevant.com. There are so many decisions marketers need to make. Should they spend on paid digital, paid social, paid search? How do they all interact? And whether you're a small or a large marketer, whether you're B2B or B2C, getting this mix right can drive significant incremental sales. Today, I'm interviewing Andy Buyting, a content marketing expert. So let me tell you a little bit about Andy. Today's guest is a two-time international best-selling author, serial entrepreneur, and strategic advisor. He is a leader in business development and marketing and has helped insurance agencies grow all over North America with his integrated smarketing strategy. Please welcome Andy Buyting.
Thank you, Guy. I'm excited for this interview. It'll be a lot of fun.
Absolutely. And I do like that jacket. I'm going to have to ask you later on where you got that. So,
Sure.
anyway, Andy, tell us what is your backstory? How did you get into your career in marketing?
Sure. So I grew up in family business. We ran retail home and garden centers. I always had a passion for marketing. And long before I really learned a lot about marketing and started going down that path and focusing on it, I loved marketing. I believe that, you know, with really good marketing, you can grow and you can propel any business because it's more powerful than sales, is more powerful than operation. Like it's what starts the whole engine running. And in our retail business, I leveraged good marketing. And like I was one of the early ones in the late 80s. We started a print newsletter for our clients. So I was doing, looking back, it was a form of content marketing long before the term ever it was ever invented. And it just loved it, just loved marketing. And eventually went out and we spun off Tulip Media. And now I get to do marketing full time for client partners all over North America.
Well, that is awesome, and I couldn't agree with you more. Especially if you get it right. And I will admit, sometimes for smaller businesses, getting marketing right is very difficult. But if you get it right, the amplification effect that it has on the rest of the business and the rest of sales definitely can be enormous. Now, you're a specialist in insurance agencies and marketing for insurance agencies. So tell us some interesting stories there and some good strategies for insurance industry, and also then how they might apply to other industries.
Sure. And by the way, we do a lot of work for a number of different industries. Insurance, just for some reason, tends to be the biggest group that we work with. But so what we do is we work with insurance agencies to help build their sales team and actually make them more successful through effective marketing. And to give you a couple of examples, we work with them on their digital marketing as well as their print marketing. And that like a we that's how we started the company. Actually, was doing customized print marketing, and we specialized only with insurance agencies in the early years. We since do a lot of manufacturing. They're all B2B clients that we work with, but and what we do for them is we actually create customized magazines where we look after all the work. We make it super easy. We have brand promises. We'll make it easy, effective, and enjoyable. So we make it super easy. We write their articles for them. Our ghostwriters will write it for them. We'll do all the design, the editing, the project management, the printing, US Post. We take care of everything, soup to nuts. All we need is their input on some of the content because we'll write the content, but they're the experts. And they can put out their own magazine really simply to their client base, to prospects, and to give it to their salespeople to hand over when they're looking and calling on new business. So that's how we started the company, and it grew very quickly. working with several insurance agencies all over North America. And that's where we honed in and got really good at creating good content, good articles. And then we took it online and we started getting really good at understanding good keyword strategy and developing that for our client partners. And, understanding that keyword strategy, the keyword strategy that works in, Minneapolis does not necessarily work in Boston or in Los Angeles or different parts of the country. So we got really good at keywords, creating keyword strategies, creating content that could then go into their magazine, but also on their website to draw people in and leverage that for SEO, for search engine optimization. Then we got really good at paid advertising and for B2B businesses. And where we landed on, and one of our client partners in Minnesota, Jay Nesbitt, is a great prime example. And Nesbitt Insurance Agencies, they're wonderful people. And for them, we handle all of their digital marketing as well as creating the print magazine. And for them, we run paid advertising campaign, content marketing campaign. And the other key thing is we optimize their website for conversions. And like I said, you and I were talking about earlier, is that what really counts at the end of the day, and that's what Jay Nesbitt hires us for, is to make his phone ring, to have contact forms filled out looking for more information about what they're selling, and prospects booking meetings in his salespeople's calendar. That's what marketing is about. So that's what's really crucial for our insurance agencies and all our client partners.
Yeah, and that is so correct, and especially when you have a large component of your outbound activities is being, with sales and a sales team, whether it's inside or an outside or a combination of the two. Getting that phone to ring for them, if you can do that with people that are really interested, you will be loved, absolutely loved by the sales team. So you talk about building a sales machine, and I, of course, talk about a marketing machine. So tell us about how to build the best sales machine.
Well, it's interesting. Justin Rothmars wrote a book called The Machine, and it's about, it's sales machine. And when we look at it, we look at, okay, we took that inspiration and we just took a few steps further in both directions. And what we look at is that, the whole smarketing, we call it smarketing. It's combining sales and marketing into one business development process that works. And when we look at the business development machine, here's the best analogy that I always use. The turn of the last century, the automobile existed, but they were being created by craftsmen, right? And the same person would, design the automobile, would create all components, would put it all together, build the interior, drop the engine in, do all those things and build the automobile. It wasn't until Henry Ford came along, what Henry Ford did was he just invented the assembly line, where the same craftsman did not do all parts of the manufacturing. He had specialists at different stations. And if you were a specialist at dropping in the engine, that's all you did all day long, because you would do it better, faster, less expensive, more efficient than anyone else. That's an assembly line process. And he democratized the automobile. And all of a sudden, the people, one of his missions was that his own workers would be able to afford to buy an automobile. And he was able to do that. Well, in business, how many times do you hire a salesperson and you expect that salesperson to do their own prospecting, to do their own cold calling, to book their own introductory meetings or discovery calls, to present the solution, do demos, display products, have the follow-up calls, close the contract, and sometimes even collect on the money. You're taking your salespeople and you're asking them to be craftsmen building their own automobile every step along the way. Now, what happens if you break out your business development process? And the example I use in our book is our own company. We have an 8-step business development process, from prospecting all the way to closing and signing a contract and collecting the deposit. There's 8 steps. And why would the same person be accountable in doing every part? Because the salesperson you have, maybe they're really good at opening doors, but they're not good closers. Maybe they're great closers, or they're great at prospecting, but they're not good at demoing the product. So why not have different people, different people to start with, identify those different stations and have different people do those different stations where they can become really efficient and really effective at. And once you get there, just like the automobile assembly line, eventually you start replacing some of the people with robotics, right? And that's where, if you look at your business development assembly line, at Tulip Media Group, our 8-step business development process, we essentially automate the first 3, if not 4 steps with effective marketing. So prospecting, we no longer do prospecting. We use digital marketing to do that. The discovery calls, that's done through our website. So we leverage a really good strategy, and there is a science behind it. When people land on your website, to take them through a journey and get them to take your call to action, get them to do what you want them to do. So that's all done through the website. So once they actually reach out and they book a meeting in our calendar, they're almost at the demo stage, because the first few steps have been automated. And then we have, the best person to do demo is the actual people that are doing the work or that know the product. It's not always salespeople, because prospects will become defensive around salespeople. So why not have, the best graphic designer talk about your magazine instead of a salesperson? And then once they do that, then a salesperson or account, in our case, we actually have production people doing all of the sales. A production manager will then take that and follow up with any questions on the process. And then at the final stage, towards the end of it, then it's either myself or our president, Trevor, will jump on a quick call, meet the person, face to face, whether it's over Zoom or what have you, and ask for the sale, because that's what he and I are really good at. I'm actually not good at prospecting. I am good at closing a sale. And then once that's done, then it gets handed off to accounting for, issuing the contract. And so that's the business development assembly line, is what I like to call it. And that's the way I really challenge client partners to look at their own business development strategy and to figure out what that process is. And then let's automate as much as we can with good marketing.
Yeah, I like that. And that makes a lot of sense. And to your point about being on the assembly line, is getting the right people to do the things that they're really good with, and then passing it off, so to speak, to the next and to the next and to the next. And I also like your point that where you are instead of having one person that may or may not good at all 8 steps, is to get him out of the stuff that he's not good at, or get him out of the stuff that he doesn't like doing, and make sure he's doing the stuff that he likes. And I think what you're talking about makes a lot of sense, and it can apply to many industries.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And even, I think about, our graphic or our marketing specialists and creative directors, so on. When they talk to someone about a demo and get them excited about the design or what the strategy is that they can take with that client partner, they get excited. The thought of them trying to close a sale, they would grow anxiety. They would not want to do it, and they wouldn't be good at it, quite frankly. So for them, the nice, beautiful transition is, how about you talk to so-and-so and let, they can go through and talk to you about how the whole process works, and can answer a lot of your questions. And then when they talk to them, it's every step along the way. I'm going to hand you off to Sue, or I'm going to hand you off to Erica, who's the expert at that part, at that component. And she's going to bring you through how this whole process works. And then when we talk to Erica, it's the natural progression is, what? I was speaking to Trevor about you guys this morning, our company president, and he really wants to meet you. Can we get on a call to just so he can say hi and, maybe strategize a little bit better and refine the proposal and the project, the scope of work that we've already talked about. And Trevor's fantastic at jumping on a call, talking about it. Sometimes it's tweaked a little bit and saying, you know what, we'd love to get started on this. How about we just sign the contract and let's get going? We can get you in the schedule. And again, it's different people leveraging their strengths to move business development forward.
And of course, would you like that in blue or red?
That's right. You know how it works.
Yeah. No, I love it. So just curious. So so it sounds like you're taking the sales funnel and you've broken it down into 8 steps, and whether you want to call it sales at the top or marketing at the top, but there's these 8 steps in this funnel. Do you have one person then that shepherds kind of the whole thing, or is it, you get handed off and you never come back to that original person? How does that work?
So it's on a case by case basis. Sometimes they do come back to that original person. Sometimes they don't. We do the process we follow is, we do what makes sense for that company, that potential client partner. When we're working with our own client partners, we'll help advise them on, what are your business development steps, right? What are your business development stations in your assembly line? And then how, we'll really focus on the front end. How do we automate those first few steps so that, and that's the inspiration behind our book is double sales with 0 salespeople, meaning you can double your sales with no more salespeople than what you have right now, whether that number is 2 or 20 or 200. You can double your sales with good, effective marketing by making it so that your salespeople can basically start closing twice the number of sales that they are now. And, we'll look at it with that slant to that angle. We'll talk about, what is your business development process? What's your business development assembly line? What do those look like? Let's see how much we can automate through a really good marketing strategy that we'll put in place and manage and execute for you. And then what are the next steps? So when you get this lead in, what happens? And let's talk about that, and we'll help advise you. But that's where we kind of do the handoff and say, here's someone who, through leveraging all automated marketing tactics, here's someone who wants to talk to one of your salespeople, and now you take it from there. But we'll advise you on those follow-up steps. But that's where your product or service better than we ever will, and you're the right people to talk to them at that point in time, and we're the wrong people to talk to them.
Yeah, that makes so much sense. So so now selling, though, unfortunately, is not just about winning and closing deals. You also have to do retention, and you got to keep them. And so tell us about what you would do, or what your theories are and your practices are actually on client retention.
So this is where I love print. This is where I love creating something that is tangible, that people can hold and feel in their hands. And, that's why we love leveraging, customized magazines, where you can put your content, your ideas, your value add onto physical pages, especially in today's age with Chat GPT and AI and all this. We're soon getting to a place where if you're reading something online, you don't know if it's written by a real person or a machine. And when it's in print and there's somebody's name associated with it, and there's a person's picture, somebody from your company's picture in that magazine, John Doe is the expert in XYZ, and there's an article from John there, and that's delivered to them through US Post, or oftentimes, with insurance agencies or other companies. The most valuable magazines are actually the ones that are shipped to their office, that they can take and hand out to prospects and say, oh, by the way, it's partly sales collateral, but it is the ultimate business card. When your competitors are giving them business cards and brochures, you're handing over your own custom magazine that your company published that gives instant credibility, and it helps build that confidence in your company as they do business with you. And then once they become a client of yours, to retain them, keep sending them that printed copy, whether your rhythm is once a quarter, twice a year, once a year, whatever works for you. But I love print for retention because, a lot of our client partners, for instance, will do a printed magazine, and we may print, I don't know, let's say, 3,500 copies. We'll send 3,000 to their existing client base, and the other 500 are for them to hand out, throughout the next period of time. And the print, when you send something in print, it tells that person subconsciously that you value the relationship, that you're willing to actually invest in something that you sent them in the post office, right? So that's one thing. Because when a lot of people say, well, maybe not print, everything's going digital. We do an email newsletter. Well, Guy, how many email newsletters do you read on a regular basis, right? How many do you get, and how many of them do you actually read?
Very few, unless they are really consistently of good quality and good value. Otherwise, you might read the heading, the subject line, and then otherwise you're gonna, that's it, and click on to the next one.
But if somebody sends you a magazine, you're probably going to at least look at it. And the other nice thing is that if you read something in there that you like, you'll flip that page down. You'll hold on to it. You'll hand it off to somebody else in your office and say, this is a good article. You never do that with anything digitally, right? But there is something magical about, sending someone a copy of a magazine and you saying, wow, they value my relationship with them because they just sent me this in the mail, as opposed to, it's just another email that came in that cost them nothing.
Yeah.
That's that value, that sense of value comes through in the way that you deliver the message. So that's why I love the printed magazine, is that it shows your clients that you value them, that you're willing to invest some real dollars in paper and postage and send them something of value. The other nice thing that I love, and here's an example of one, for one of our client partners, they feature one of their clients on the front cover of every magazine. So when you do that, you can, then you really gain that loyalty. And guess what? That client of yours that's featured on the front cover of your magazine, they are going to be one of your best referral sources that you'll ever have.
Yeah. Yeah.
And give them, by the way, if you do that, give them lots of copies to hand out to their friends and contacts so that they can spread your word for you. But I love print for retention.
That I do like that. That's very good. Well, and I mean, I'm a fan of print as well. We've done a lot of we have a lot of clients that whether they're big or medium-sized advertisers, they all have a component that's print. Yeah. And what we found generally is that print advertising is very successful. And it's so successful that you can't buy enough. There just isn't enough inventory. There's not enough magazines to be able to buy enough to to get the otherwise the exposure that you'd like to get. But overall, we've definitely found print to be successful. Now, I will admit there's one thing I have to let you know about, and that is that bookshelf behind you is also all print. At some point, I don't know, maybe not. I do like a print book, but at some point, the back of yours and the back of mine here is going to be on my iPad. And, so who knows? I mean, maybe what you'll have back there is a whole bunch of print magazine covers or something like that.
Perhaps, but what's interesting is that a lot of it is still, I look at my 18-year-old daughter and she will not read off a Kindle. So the younger generation, the printed books are actually coming back. Like they're printing more and more. There's more printed books, hard paper books that are being sold every year. So it is coming back. Some people make the switch over, some people don't. But Deloitte did a study a few years ago, and the title of the study is that digital is growing, but print's not dead. And basically the message was that know your audience and know how they want to consume content. If I send you a business article if you send anybody a business article online, 84% chance that they're going to print it off and read it from the paper. So most business content, the business genre, is consumed, 84% is consumed in print, not digitally. So, print does have a place. It is more expensive to reach, but that's why send it to those people you value. Send it to existing clients. So much cheaper. I'd rather spend some money keeping a client, in part, among other things, but in part by sending them a print. I'll spend a few dollars. I'll spend some dollars keeping a client by keeping them happy. Doing all the normal services that I do, but also showing them how much I value them by sending them something in print. So and the other thing too, and the most uncluttered inbox that you have is your U.S. Post mailbox. It is, right?
Well, I don't know.
Inbox is cluttered.
Yeah, during fair enough, but man, during the election season, it turns around. But you're right about that. It's right now, and I think that's, and I don't know if I'd call that print or direct mail, or I guess there is print certainly involved, but both of them, direct mail and as well as a print magazine coming in through the mail, I think does have that touchy feely value that comes with it. And then if it's really well written and there's good stuff in there, people will be waiting on it and want to read it. Yeah, absolutely. So you talk about the 3 pillars of marketing. What are those?
The 3 pillars of marketing, I always consider, you have to consider all 3 because they are, and you have to have a component of all 3. It's digital marketing, print marketing, and then interactive marketing. So most people think of digital marketing and maybe, everyone thinks of digital marketing. A lot of people think of print marketing. You need to make sure that those 2 are singing the same tune, because if your digital content, if you're marketing, the person that's in charge of your marketing messaging is not collaborating and not coordinating with your social media manager, for instance, and the social media, you're putting different messaging out on social media than you are on your website, that's not good. Same thing goes if you're putting different messaging on your website or in social media that's not in your printed brochures or magazine, that's not good. You need consistency across the platforms, across the pillars. So you need that good digital marketing for the quick hits and quite frankly, to reach new prospects that you may not otherwise reach, because it has such, you can spread a message out across such a vast audience. But once you get that client in, you leverage print. Print gives you more credibility. It has more longevity and more credibility than digital does. And then what most people don't think of, or they don't consider it through that lens, is interactive marketing. Now, interactive marketing is anytime you're interacting with someone face-to-face. That could be, one-on-one over Zoom, if it's a prospecting call. It could be face-to-face in a showroom or in an office or at a conference. If you're presenting your ideas, like a part of your business development strategy is to present ideas to audiences, that's interactive marketing. It's anytime there's live communication going back and forth. Now, that's still a marketing function, because marketing, the way I look at marketing is all of the activities that you do to have a prospect say, I'm interested in what you have to say. I'm interested in what you might have to sell, or how your company might be able to help me achieve my goals. Everything up to then is marketing. Once they express interest, then it's a sales activity. So when you're answering your phone, when your company's answering their phone, that's to a prospect, that's a marketing activity. You want to make sure that a complete and cohesive marketing strategy across all 3 pillars has consistent messaging, has a consistent language, vocabulary, message that's going out into the marketplace. Because if your digital marketing and your print marketing are aligned, but then somebody walks into your showroom and what they're hearing from the salesperson does not align with what was just said or what they just read online or just read in a magazine, you're going to lose a lot of credibility really quick. So it is a marketing function and it needs to be treated that way. And you need to think, you need to think about that. And that comes through training, through alignment. It comes through deliberate action to ensure that there's consistency there.
Yeah, and I think that that's one of the big challenges I think marketing has is to make that message consistent. I think marketing is pretty good at making the message consistent for marketing activities, but then to have it flow down through the whole funnel down into the sales team, whether it's inside or outside or whatever you want to define as your sales team, getting that message consistent, that takes a lot, and that's definitely not an easy thing.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. And you need to be deliberate about it because otherwise you see it too often that people they might give some thought to the digital and the print, but the salespeople, they're doing their own thing and there's no consistency there. And that hurts a company.
Yeah. Yeah. And it hurts your brand too. I mean,
Exactly.
we're all interested in our brand and the emotional side of our businesses that people end up deciding to a large extent. It's not necessarily about price. It's about the brand and how consistent. And if you're consistent, that also reflects on your quality and your quality of service and everything else. So, yeah, I like how you put that.
Yeah.
So then moving forward, what do you see now as the new normal? What is the next thing here that's going to take place in marketing and selling for us all?
Well, I would say that my best answer to that is I don't know if anybody really knows. I think just in the last 3 months, the whole AI and chat GPT, that's going to impact, I truly believe that's going to impact pretty near every industry out there, some much more than others. And in marketing, it's going to impact it a lot. How it's going to impact it, I think it's it's almost anyone's guess. A lot of the functions that we did manually in the past are going to be done by AI, which is a good thing, which is which is a lot of good things will come out of it. It'll allow everybody to become much more efficient and productive at what they do. The challenge is to stay in front of that. We have, in our company at Tulip, for instance, at Tulip Media, we have someone who is just accountable for that thought stream. And we're having regular meetings, experimenting with different, content creation tools, experimenting with different design tools, experimenting with all kinds of different AI so that, we can start leveraging this as quickly as it makes sense to adopt. We don't want to jump on every new fad, but we want to at least be able to understand what's happening and how it can be leveraged. And the other interesting thing that's coming out of this is the growing skepticism about everything that's happening, and everybody's unsure. And that's why, I find it really fascinating. In the last 3 months, there's been huge, we've always provided digital marketing strategy and services, execution, to get those conversions and as well as the print magazine marketing. In the last 3 months, all of our new client partners, not all, but pretty near all, it's been exclusively the magazines, which is really fascinating to me. And it just switched all of a sudden. And I remember, a month or two into it thinking, why is the magazine side of the business growing so fast? Just all of a sudden, it just started taking off. And, one of our theories is that with AI and so on, people are, I don't know if they're a little bit more skeptical or afraid, or I do believe there's a shift to where people are believing less and less online. So therefore print has more credibility and, they tend to believe it more. Even large companies that we're working with now who never did that much in print, their demand for print is just skyrocketed. And I think it has, we're getting back to something that is familiar, that we trust, and that will remain consistent, relatively consistent, as we go through these evolutions of AI. So it's going to be really interesting. It's going to be really, really interesting. And the way I look at all, AI and how that's going to impact everything is that it's going to impact every industry, marketing especially, and you want to at least understand how to use it. You want to make sure that whatever benefits can be derived from it, you want to make sure that you're learning how to leverage it. Don't fight it, because it is coming. You want to be on the forefront of leveraging, understanding how to use it instead of trying to protect status quo from, the last decade type of thing.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think, looking back as well, when you think about office automation, I guess from the 70s or the 80s, there was trepidation about computers. At the time, it might have been mainframes or the IBM PC, that big honker of a thing, and we all kind of, survive is not the right term, but we all actually thrived on using that. There were some that didn't like it. There's some that that were very reticent about getting involved in it. But those that did, and certainly the younger folks, they picked it up right away. And now I think it's kind of the same thing. You now have AI. You have those that are going to jump on it and they're going to thrive with it, and you might have some that are reticent. And it is what it is. But I think the AI is really going to make a huge difference. So I have two more questions for you. The second to the last is, what advice would you give to an up and coming marketer?
First of all, so two pieces of advice I would give. One is, make sure you stay in the forefront of the new technology. Experiment. Make sure you budget time in your day, your week, to test out these new theories, these new ideas. Some of the road paths you take will be a dead end. Others will be pure genius and will change the way you think and the way you do business. So always stay in the cutting edge there. Don't let that pass you by. That's one thing. While you're doing that, though, never underestimate the fundamentals. Stick to fundamentals. A good marketing strategy. When people say, this is my company, what kind of marketing strategy should I employ? First question is, tell me about your business strategy. Good marketing strategy starts with your business strategy. Where you want to take your business, where you want to take your company over the next 3-5 years will dictate. Now let's build a marketing strategy that helps you get there, that serves that strategy. That's one fundamental. Another fundamental is, at the end of the day, they talk about, business to business, business to consumer. At the end of the day, it's human to human, and for now, at least, there is a person on the other side that's going to make the buy or not buy decision. It's not AI making that decision yet. So the fundamentals, your marketing strategy needs to support business strategy. And at the end of the day, you're selling human to human. There's still a person on the other end that's going to say yes or no to your offering. And you can't forget that. Need to stay cutting edge with the technology, but don't get swept up. It's not all technology that's going to make you propel. You need to connect with that person. And that's,
I like your point. There's no question you need the fundamentals, and yet you also need to be at the cutting edge, kind of at the same time. And you need to balance the two, or at least use the fundamentals to position how you're going to do the cutting edge kinds of stuff.
Yeah, or look at the cutting edge. The way I would look at it is, look at the cutting edge as tools to help you build on your fundamentals.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. All right. So the question on everybody's mind is, tell us about your jacket. It's awesome. I love it.
So we're TulipMediaGroup, and the jacket is it's a field of yellow tulips with one red tulip in there. And I always say, in the early days of the company, I always said that we will help you become the red tulip in the sea of yellow. And I had this jacket made. This is the actual image that I use in my presentations when I speak and do keynotes. And one time I was doing a speech in Austin, and they said, no visual aids. You're in front of, I don't know, it's like 700 people, 700 business owners, but no visual aids. Oh, I lost my visual red tulip in the sea of yellow, because that's what everybody remembered. Oh, you're the tulip guy. So one of the fellas on our team, he said, you know what? You need a flashy jacket. You need a jacket. So we had the exact image that I used in my presentation, custom fabric made, printed, and then we had it custom made, and that's what it is. We help you become the red tulip in the sea of yellow.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
I really do like that. So fantastic. Well, thank you so much, Andy. It's really great, and thank you for participating. So, where would you like viewers to go to learn more about you and your company?
Sure. Our website is tulipmediagroup.com. But one thing I've done, Guy, is that we have a landing page for viewers if they're interested at tm.media/double sales, like the book. So tm.media/double sales. And on there, they can read a chapter of the book, they can buy the book. But also, one thing I invite the reader or the listener, sorry, is there's a link there where if you wanted to talk about your own business strategy or your own marketing strategy, you can you can book a meeting right in my calendar, or my co-author Jessica Embry right into her calendar. And we love talking marketing strategy. So book a meeting with us and we can jump on a call, no charge for it. So that's
And,
it. That's found at that landing page as well.
fantastic, fantastic. So it's tulipmediagroup.com. And
Yep.
then for the landing page, it was
Dot
tm.media
media/double sales.
/double sales. Fantastic. Well, and I definitely am going to pick up a copy of your book, Double Sales. Is that available on Amazon? And
Yes. Yeah, it is. Amazon, Audible, double sales, zero salespeople. And yeah, it's on Amazon, and we have the Audible version as well, and Kindle, of course.
fantastic. Well, thank you. So for the audience, please stay tuned for many other videos in this series of the backstory on marketing. Please visit marketingmachine.prorelevant.com and download the first chapter of my book and other valuable excerpts. And don't forget to sign up for more episodes and of this series of podcasts and other valuable content. And if you like this podcast with Andy and his red tulip in the sea of yellow, please rate this with 5 stars. Andy, thank you so much.
Well, thank you for having me, Guy. It's been a pleasure.
Absolutely. Thank you.